Hi guys, this is Dali from Riva Jazz channel. Today I want to talk to you about symptoms, emotions before, during and after the period. Because I'm a woman and I did have some issues myself with the period over, let's see, 10 years I would say, but in the last 3 to be more specific, I did have some sort of clinical issues that I had to get them checked. So coming to one side with that, that's fine. But my main question here today is regarding the emotions that are surrounding the before, the during, and the after process of period. So we already know that the woman is this human being, very, very powerful. And it creates this immense energy inside her, and it connects with everybody around them, and it's very sensitive and many things. That's great. But now coming to the reality, I will put my example on the line because that's why I wanted to raise this video up. One of the things that is happening lately to myself is I used to do or used to have symptoms such as very sick, as in very dizzy or very, very tired actually. My face and actually color around the body would change to very pale and almost gray, but not that gray as if I was going to die. But yes, I would have those sort of physical symptoms. Gladly, these symptoms have gone better, but they took like 3 years now to find out the roots and everything. But that's a subject for a different video, and there are many videos out there that you can actually search for the answers. But this is not exactly what I'm trying to point out. The point here is emotions. Emotions/relationships. Is your relationship in a sense that during your period you're becoming so emotional that your relationship gets affected? So I had the physicality of it, so I had the resetting to my system, so very, very low during the period, and then very powerful again, and then very low during the period, and then very powerful afterwards. So I always felt that my body was just up and down, up and down, up and down. And I didn't feel that I was doing this sort of continuation, a continuous line, I would say. So the same thing now is happening in my relationship. I believe this was happening then, but now that the symptoms are gone in terms of physicality, there are still some subliminal messages underlying in my body or in my mind or in my heart. So what is happening is exactly that. Every time I'm closer to the period, I do have symptoms as if I'm not here, or my emotions are so high and I don't even know what's going on. So to give you an example, yesterday I felt the need of cry, and I do sometimes. From every now and then I have this sort of need. It's not that you deserve it or anything, but actually crying is good. But I was trying to understand it. And to understand was to put some music on. That's what I decided to do. To see if I could calm down, because my heart rate was a little bit on the racing pattern. And so I did listen to some music. And I don't know, my mind was just trying to sing along with the music. And I did sing a little bit, and soon I wanted to write. And when I wrote about crying, and this came as if it was sort of a song or a poem itself. But then I felt how awesome life is, because to be able to receive this sort of channeling, I would say, it's beautiful. And sometimes we need to give these messages to other people, even to ourselves. So the motions, or the emotions actually, of the whole process of having menstruation is very peculiar in my perspective. So I'm learning how to be a woman at this stage of my life. Yes, it's true, because I spent so many years blocking that part of me, and it's been an awesome trip, I would say. It's not easy, but it has its moments. It's just now, it's this part of reset. So, what is causing this disruptions in the relationship that I'm currently on? And that means that I don't feel that I'm never understood at this precise moment of the period, and because it's such a personal affair, I would say, and people don't talk about it. It's unbelievable. And I'm just here to actually talk to you guys. I don't care if this video goes longer, because I'm trying to do it as raw as far as I can. I'm not reading anything. I'm looking through the papers. There's stuff that is just crumbling around my desk, but there's nothing. Truly, it's just me. So yesterday I had this sort of urge for my emotions, and a need to cry was the major emotion that was on the top, I would say. And I explored it by listening to music, and soon before actually after I started singing and I quieted myself without singing, I started listening to this voice inside. There was a message, very, very peculiar, just a message. And it was about crying and about smiling and about the flow of life. So I felt really great. That's fine. But before then, there was a sort of blindness inside, So there was no communication between me and my partner. So there was no sense of connectingness, I would say, sorry. And I couldn't express myself. I actually didn't know anything apart from wanting to cry and wanting to say, look, I really want to cry. As if I really want to get an ice cream. It's similar. It's awkward, but it's so similar, Those feelings, they were so close, but you don't want to give that to your partner, You don't want to put that pressure, like, what is that in terms of good for you or for everybody around you? We understand that crying is good, but at this precise moment, what is actually doing to you? So I don't know. I just wanted really to be understood at that moment, and that didn't work. I wasn't in my own favor, so I didn't work out on that. And from then on, I think the relationship is just a step back. And it's always like this. So physicality I was being powerful and stronger and free and happier and everything when I'm out of the period, and less, and feeling as if it was a step back. So I've never moved from the same point. That's how I felt, and I still feel this. I might be wrong, because I believe in more things, but let's not focus on that, because I'm not going to explain to you what I believe or whatever. It's just, okay, I do have this sort of line in time. I have the before, the during, and the after. So after, we already know it's quite nice, that sensation. I feel powerful. I feel like, oh yes, the power is coming back again. My consistency of being strong and being feminine and being who I am, balanced, everything. It's awesome. It's in the end. The during, it has its moments. In the very, very beginning, it's still attached to that maybe a week pattern, or a few days pattern, or just a day before pattern. until the first, second days of full flux of the period. And that causes confusion. You may call it crazy. Do you know what it means to be crazy after all? In detail. Can you explain it to me? Because being crazy is not me looking in the eye, explaining to you everything the way I can, in the way that is in my language, and to approach this subject that many refuse to even talk about. And when I go to a specialist, they just go by the books. It's not that they don't study, but they do not study very well the people, what's happening to patterns. I'm studying patterns, and still there's nothing that is telling me I should follow a certain pattern. I need to pay attention to patterns, but I'm not going to give you this is it. No, every single pattern is different, has different measurements, has different shapes, has different situations to measure. So what is it in you on that side of the screen that can understand what I'm saying and allows to at least put themselves in the line to give me some sort of feedback? I want a feedback to my heart. I don't want your feedback to my head. That, I'm afraid, it doesn't work. And that doesn't actually put a sort of an awareness out there for people even, because I am putting to you all this situation. So yeah, coming back, the line, before, during, after. After is great, is awesome, and during that whole period until it starts again, it's all awesome, I would say, But my issue is to understand if this is actually an issue and how can I approach it in order for my relationship, or for any sort of relationship, either at work or at home, friends inclusive, doesn't get affected. How can I improve it? I don't really recall having this sort of problems before. For me, it would be just natural to have the period. That's it. It would be fine. But we indeed are different from men, and we indeed are different as a human being. When I was a kid, not being a woman yet, I was so cool. But I can be it at the same time. Why not? That's what I believe in for myself. And that's why I always say, in terms of being better and healthier and balanced and everything, so I couldn't have the patterns in the physical part. And that's why I improved. But those subliminal patterns that are still happening, then the blindness of my own thoughts and perception of what's going on around me, and how I can express myself, these emotions that urge, and the sort of scariness, or the part that you feel afraid of expressing that to someone and not being understood, because that causes like, oh no, this person is not what I want or near me, and blah blah blah. This isn't bullshit, my friends. This is pure reality. It is my reality. Fine, I accept that. But I'm sure that many out there are having similar things, and I just want to share this sort of awareness and to find out from you if you have found this sort of pattern in your life, and if you relate to something else, and if not, just share if you can, by message, by liking, by sharing on Facebook or somewhere else, this message, and to seek some more comments from anyone that actually can help. I even would like or love to hear from a shaman itself. So if you're out there, thank you and goodbye.